Hello dear people and welcome to our QSI Phuket news. Today's date is November 29th, 2024 and we have a lot of fascinating things to impress you. I hope all of you are ready to know about the amazing events coming up soon. First of all, let's see how our elephants are doing. No, don't worry, we don't keep elephants at school, but they are our close friends. So stay with us and take a look.
An elephant trip has been set by the 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds last Friday, so let's hear more about it. Here for our first interview we have the first question. What was the point of the elephant trip?
So we can donate to save the elephants.
Fair. For our second interview we have here. Your question is, how is the experience for you?
The experience was okay, but we didn't like the ants.
So if I'm right, everything was fine, but the ants part wasn't really satisfying?
Yeah.
Now for our third interview we have you here. Your question is, how did you make sure you can donate things to the elephant trip?
We donated by selling snacks for a few weeks and making 6,000 baht to donate to them.
Wow, that's an amazing profit for the elephants. For our fourth interview we have here. Now, what was your favorite part of the trip?
Food.
Could you be a little more specific?
Free food.
Well, I think that's all we're gonna get today. And now, for our fifth interview, we have... Now, what comments do you have to say about this trip?
There was a delicious buffet.
For the past few months, the students here at QSI have been preparing an exciting new winter show for you. The show will be themed after the 90s and early 2000s and will feature various smash hit songs from the periods. We're very excited to present you the show we've been preparing. Thank you and see you there.
Beach Cleanup. This Friday, November 29th, is our school Beach Cleanup Day. The teams have been decided. Each student will be split into teams up to 10 people to pick up trash as a group. Remember, every small action counts. Together, we can make the beach cleaner, the ocean healthier, and the world better. And don't forget, safety first. Wear gloves, stay with your group, and watch out for sharp objects.
Phew! What a busy week ahead of us, which is why we have a day off. That's right, there's no school on December 5th. So rest well, children, because on the day you're back, we have the winter concert.
The weather on this weekend is going to be wet. It's going to be rain all day, so it's going to be cloudy and sad. The temperature is going to be 30 degrees Celsius. That's all about this weather for the weekend. See you next time.
Algeria, a land of vast deserts, ancient history, and rich cultures, found itself at the center of one of the longest and most brutal chapters of European imperialism. For over a century, French rule would reshape the lives of millions, leaving a legacy that still echoes today. To understand the full impact of this occupation, we turn to historians who will guide us through this dark period of Algeria's past.
France's rule over Algeria began in 1830 when French forces invaded and captured the coastal city of Algiers. The French government, led by Charles X, sought to expand French influence in the Mediterranean and sought retribution for a diplomatic dispute involving the mistreatment of French nationals in Algeria. But beneath this pretext was a deeper drive for territorial expansion and the desire to enhance France's prestige. Algeria at the time was part of the Ottoman Empire but was largely governed by a local ruling class known as the Dey. French invention was motivated not only by a desire for territorial expansion but also by economic interests, particularly in establishing a foothold in North Africa. The French had long coveted Algeria for its fertile lands, its strategic position along key marginal routes, and its potential to provide valuable resources. The occupation was initially met with minimal resistance, but it soon turned into a brutal and protracted conflict. The French faced still resistance from local Algerian forces, most famously led by figures like Emir Abdelkader, who fought to protect Algerian sovereignty for decades. The French colonial grip tightened throughout the 19th century, but it wasn't until 1848 that Algeria was formally declared an integral part of France. Over the next 132 years, France established control over the land, exploiting its resources and imposing French culture and institutions on the local population. But the tide began to turn after the World War II, as nationalist sentiment and demand for independence surged across the globe. In Algeria, this was no different. The Algerian War of Independence, which began in 1954, was marked by fierce fighting and widespread authorities on both sides. It was a war that deeply divided French society. By the 1962, after years of bloody conflict and increasing international pressure, Algeria gained its independence and French rule over the country officially ended. This marked the end of one of the most significant tumultuous chapters of French colonial history.
France's rule over Algeria, the longest of any French colony in Africa, was marked by extreme brutality from the outset in 1830. The French imposed harsh control over the native population, resulting in devastating consequences. The French military waged relentless campaigns against Algerians' resistance, and by the end of their rule in 1962, nearly one-third of the native population had perished due to war, famine, and diseases. The French also confiscated land, displaced entire communities, and employed brutal tactics, such as torture and mass execution. Algeria was subjugated to a systematic effort to erase its culture and impose French values and institutions. The long-term consequences were profound. Independence achieved in 1962 left Algeria with a fractured society, deep economic challenges, and a scared national psyche. The legacy of colonial exploitation and violence still echoes in the relationship between France and Algeria today. The effects of France's imperial rule remain a painful chapter in the history of both nations, one that continues to shape the modern relationship between France and Algeria.
So now we know how the trip to Elephant was. What should we expect from beach cleanup? And even some details about winter concert. That will be just next week. Now we know what to plan for the weekends and the December 5th, because it will be a day off. Thank you for watching QSI Phuket News. We will see you next week.